This isn't a review of sorts, it's more my thoughts on having a 64GB Steam Deck. The things that I really like about it and the things that I don't really like about it. I almost feel like I have to start with the negatives first of the Steam Deck, which doesn't make sense for a review, but I'm gonna do it. I mean, the first thing is it's 64GB, so if you're looking for anything internal, you're not gonna get it. Now, the Steam Deck eats up something called shader cache. For anyone who doesn't quite know without a full explanation, it's files that the game creates in order to load it better, and it seems to put these files all on the internal SSD storage. I've got 45GB left after the OS installation. After 500GB worth of games, I'm now down to 25 gigs. Technically, if I had a 2TB card, I would run out of internal storage, which is absolutely crazy to think about. But they shouldn't have sold the 64GB in the first place. They should have had a 128 option. In hindsight, I should have gone for 256GB. I mean, look at that, 24.9GB, 3 out of 46 on the internal drive. I've got nothing on there, and it's all the shader cache files. I don't know if Steam are gonna sort it out, but I know if you drag and drop it onto the micro SD card, it can cause performance issues with certain games, but I just had to get the terabyte, the terabyte micro SD card, just to expand my space. But I worry if I fill that up, my internal drive will be gone. I've heard Borderlands 3 is quite notorious with something like 10GB. It is quite awful. I've been tempted to do an internal upgrade, but I don't know. It's just finding the drive, and a lot of them are used as well off of eBay. They don't exactly sell it brand new anywhere, any place cheap. But yeah, in hindsight, I probably would have gone for the 256GB had I known about this issue. If I can cope with, this amount of internal drive space, 25 gigs doesn't bother me. If I fill up the rest, half a terabyte on my micro SD card, then I don't care how far down that internal drive goes. But I do hope Steam sorts something out by allowing those shader cache files to be put on the micro SD card. Other disadvantage is the bugs. This obviously leads out to advantages, which Valve are trying to patch up straight away. But I know in those early first few months, there were a lot of issues, definitely a lot of issues. Thankfully, we come into the advantages, which there are plenty of, okay? First thing to clarify is it's a portable PC, okay? It's not a Nintendo Switch. Don't go expecting something like a fully ready console. You're gonna have to tweak some of your games. Let's be honest, how many of you bought it to play your old library? I certainly didn't buy it to play new AAA games. I bought it to play some of my old stuff. Obviously, if it plays a AAA game in modern times, then that's quite good. The Watch Dogs is something I've been sort of playing purely for the free roam, Watch Dogs 2. Don't ask me about Legion. I think that I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it's just crazy how it's able to run Watch Dogs. I mean, just look at that. Smooth 40 frames per second. I did notice, however, crashed. I did notice, however, I had a few downloads in the background. Now, with other games, Steam actually stops those downloads and devotes all the CPU power to your current game. Watch Dogs 2 wasn't doing that. I had Crusader Kings downloading in the background and it was still downloading, and this was freezing up quite a bit. So I had to stop my downloads and just carry on playing. But I don't know if you can hear, if I stay really silent, yeah, the fan's running a bit in the background. Now, admittedly, I haven't got the fan variant that was noisy in the first place. I think I've got, is it the Delta variant? I don't actually, sounds like COVID. But yeah, I've got the modified one, which apparently is supposed to be quieter. I did have a smell coming out of the vent, and honestly, that smell was addictive. I know it's carcinogenic, so I kept off of it, but that smell has now finally gone. It's been aired out completely. But yeah, so far, it's so comfortable to use. But that's quite interesting mentioning with Ubisoft as well. They haven't got that agreement with Steam to have some of their later games on there. This is the other issue I get, particularly with Ubisoft games. They seem to have trouble aborting. I believe that's because they're syncing to Ubisoft's own app, Uplay. I don't mind it syncing, so I sort of give it about 30 seconds before I click abort game, which is the B button, and that definitely works. I don't think it's been 30 seconds, but I'm going to abort anyway because I want to do other stuff on it. But yeah, battery life is the other thing that's not too great on it. It's Which is it? It says 1 hour 20 in its current state. Obviously, when I play a game, that's going to be a lot less. Anyway, but I've been enjoying a few games on there, and it's just fantastic. Another one I've been playing is A Long Dark, which is a survival game, and it's just having the portability aspect of it and just playing with it. I love the cloud save. The cloud save is a fantastic option. It's got achievements as well. I do like a trophy popping up. It's something I sort of miss when I'm playing the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, it's such a fantastic and capable device. It has a desktop mode. I'm not really interested in the desktop mode. I haven't used desktop mode that much, except when I'm sorting out the shader cache files, which I will get onto soon, but it's very good that they have that option. I mean, again, this is a PC. It's a portable PC. It's not a gaming console. I've been able to access my library over the last 20 years now. Fair enough. In terms of certain games, it just, they simply won't run. I've got Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, which is a huge favorite of mine from back in the day. There's no way that's going to run. I've got a lot of free games as well that I collected over the years, some of which I probably never would ever play. But yeah, it's nice to revisit classics. I mean, for instance, DuckTales is nowhere available anywhere, and I used to love this back in the day. I also have the Super Nintendo version as part of the Disney Afternoon collection, which is good. But yeah, another thing I love about it is Steam Cloud. Majority of games have Steam Cloud, Steam Achievements, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I didn't want to make this into a review. I wanted it to be more on my thoughts and my feelings on the matter. I'm trying a different approach to filming, but as my big hand in the way. So it's more like a freehand one. So I'll try and stabilize a lot of the shakiness that I have. A bit of practice for later on, because I'm going to be filming a bit like this in the future. Yeah, I love the fact it came with a carry case as well. That's just brilliant. The buttons just feel so ergonomical. I mean, come on, look at that. Trackpad. Haptic feedback, I think it's haptic anyway because it's not clicking now. It's absolutely beautiful. If you want to play fighting games though, this D-pad is good quality, but I feel it's just a bit far off. Going on the back end of it, you've got the vent here, don't block it. You've got the trigger buttons. To be honest with you, I'm not going to use those. You've got the micro SD card slot here. I have no idea why they did not put a cover on it. Maybe it's for heat dissipation, who knows. Then right at the top, you have the vent, headphone jack, volume buttons over there, USB-C charging port, light for it, and a power button. I did notice it tends to creak. You can't hear it in the video, but it creaks near the vent. Could be maybe the heat soften the plastic over time. I did have a Nintendo Switch that did that a lot. Got the speaker grills over here, but it's just a fantastic piece of kit, and for the price, it's brilliant. And what's even more surprising is how good the case is. I mean, it's a hard case, obviously, zips up. On the outside, it's got like a strap thing. I mean, some people put stuff in there and hold it, but I'm not going anywhere near it. They could have freed up that space, to be honest. It's actually got the cutout holes for when the case shuts, the analog sticks, because that's something that used to worry me on my PS Vita as well back in the day. And look, it can drop straight in snug. Pop it in, and when I was younger, I never had a clue what stuff like this was for, but yeah, it's for taking it out, although I can pull it out. But yeah, it's just surprising that they, well, not surprising considering it's Valve. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I do think the store functionality can improve because I'm still buying my games off of my Steam app. I'm not really buying games from the store. I did it once and it was a nightmare because of the card details. I don't really save them in there. But other than that, yeah, it's really enjoying it at the moment. It's so comfortable in my hand. It does get a bit heavy when I hold it up, but it's comfortable. I can use my whole hand to grip it. With the Nintendo Switch, it's literally half my hand. It's that big. That's what I used to hold the Nintendo Switch with. Whereas this one, it's a full palm of my hands. And it is fantastic. It really is. I don't know how else to praise it. Valve have done an exceptional job. Shame on you competitions. Shame on you Sony for not releasing a cloud device, which everybody would buy, especially if it was OLED. But yeah, it just makes other companies work a bit harder. I know you had the alternatives, Neo. I think they've got a light one that also came out, but it was more expensive than the Steam Deck. And you know what? The specs that are packed into this thing, they're decent and it's fully optimized. I probably should have mentioned another disadvantage is the battery life, but let's be honest, with the kind of games you can play, that's to be expected. Fan noise is bearable. I get on. Fan noise is okay. It does get loud in some instances, but yeah, I can live with it certainly. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, this is a sort of quick thing. It's a new way of filming as well. Let me know what you think about this. So if you think, nah, just sit down and do the old video. I am still using my iPhone 13 Pro Max. Don't really want to get the iPhone 14, not with the prices. I'm going to see how the stabilization occurs because my hand is wobbling quite a lot. This phone is quite heavy, surprisingly. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, like and subscribe, and until next time.